Alrighty, so UFC 322 has taken place. Disappointing main event. We were on a generational run, as Bedtime MMA was saying, but yeah, I mean the main event really stunk up the whole card, but it is what it is. We wake up to a brand new day and a brand new event happening this weekend, being Armen Sarukian taking on Dan Hooker. I have yet to really look at this card. I think it's going to be pretty interesting. And if you're newer to the channel, newer to MMA, this is going to be my picks and predictions for every single fight card. I might be a little bit lower energy. It is early in the morning. I'm recording this before I go to work. So, working class. We got to do what we got to do. But with that being said, wow, this card looks like it's a lot of fights, huh? God damn. Anyways. Let's get into the card. Is there women on this fight? There is. There's no women on this fight? There's no women on this fight. Okay. Okay. Okay, we're into okay, this could be a good card, boys. This could be a good card. Anyways, we get into, I'm 99% sure, 2 debuts. Yep. What the fuck is this? We're gonna like, what the fuck are we doing, man? If you're newer to the channel, I don't look at other promotions. I'm a UFC fan. Hey, hand up. I'm a UFC fan. I'm not watching L if nobody asked. I'm not watching Uina Sporto Wakia M. Whatever the fuck that is. This guy probably trained with fucking the Dragon Warrior. Alright? He probably trained with Poe. But I don't give a fuck. Alright? I don't know anything about these guys at all. One of them's 6-1. The other is younger, who's 6-0. Polish. Okay, we're going with the Polish guy. Polish guys are pretty good. No odds for this fight. I'm gonna hope I've got a good read here. What do we got here? We got KO, submish. Okay, that's good. What do we got here? KO, submish, decision split. Interesting. I wonder what other people are gonna say about this. I could see people leaning this side. KO, okay, these guys are kind of fucking marauders. I don't care. I'm going with Merrick Bulio. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Denzel Freeman. Morgan Freeman, eh? Mr. Freeman. Yeah, let's just go with Bulio. Fuck it. Hey, fuck it. We ball, baby. Alright. God, that main event at fucking UFC 322 is so depressing. Hey, at least we don't get women on this fight, though. You know, we just gotta move into the next show. I did well on predictions anyway, so, I didn't even do that bad. But it's just depressing to see a main event just be so stinky. But Segai Isaac Maev versus Nicholas Dalby. Who the fuck is this Segai guy? Another debut. Is that one? Yeah, that's one. Okay, one fighting championship. Holy shit, that other guy's record. 47-10. Oh my god. What are they feeding these guys at 1FC? Damn, this guy's making a debut after 3 years. Yeah, we're going with Dalby. Dude, Dalby's hard. I get, like, Dalby just got finished by Randy Brown. I feel like Dalby's one of those guys you just don't want in your fucking debut, man. Like, decision against Renat, a lot of people thought Dalby won this one. I think I even said that I thought Dalby won that one, but regardless, like, yeah, man, bro, he's KO'd Bonfim. Like, lights could be too bright for this guy. He's beat Muslim Salikov, which is a really, really good win that a lot of people aren't going to credit Dalby for. A little bit of an unk. Damn, he's 41. It's a little older than I thought. I thought he was like 38. Shit. Wow. We're still, fuck it, we ball. We're going with Dalby. I don't know anything about this Segai guy. He hasn't fought in 3 years. Maybe he's fought at other organizations. I don't care. I'm not picking him. I'm not picking a debut Russian fighter. Although, maybe because of the way 322 ended, I should just be fucking picking these just Russian fighters. But I'm not going to let that deter me, alright? We stay on the strong side. You might be hearing a lot of floor creaks, by the way, upstairs. It happens, you know. Floors are thin around these parts, but fuck it, we ball. I gotta clock in. We move on. Narulo Aliyev. By the way, I'm picking Nicholas Dalby just by breaking this guy. Nicholas Dalby's got good pace. He's got decent wrestling. He's got pretty good takedown defense. So I don't know what this Segai guy is going to bring, but I think Dalby's probably going to defend the takedowns. I think he's just going to break the Segai guy. Could break. I mean, he's 41 at the end of the day, but I wouldn't be putting my money. I'm probably not going to be betting for a while, but I wouldn't be putting my money on Nicholas Dalby. This is kind of just like a wait and see test. Moving on, Narulo Aliyev taking on Shakim Rock. Is this another fucking debut? Jesus, man. Narulo Aliyev beat Joe Solecki. There's something about this guy that I'm supposed to remember. Now, I'm watching this before watching anybody else break down this card, obviously. There's something about this guy that I'm supposed to remember. I don't remember what it was. His name is just so familiar. Joe Solecki decision. Narulo Aliyev. Alright, we're doing research. Narulo Aliyev. UFC. You're not going to give me his record. That's fun. Oh my god. He didn't really dominate this fight. He almost got subbed. Damn, man. I feel like I'm supposed to remember something about this kid, man. Like the Bison Guru guy, but I don't. It's just blanking. He doesn't fight often. Tajikistan, eh? Damn, the odds are pretty fucking wide on this one. Oh, well, I'm just gonna go with fucking Tajikistan. Alright, I don't know who Shakim is. We'll see what happens. This is another wait and see. I don't give a fuck. Moving on. We'll do decision. Moving on, Ryan Loder coming back after pulling out of his last fight, taking on Ismail Nardiev. Listen, Ryan Loder has not had a good UFC career. What is he 0-4? What? Oh, am I thinking of not Ryan Loder? Who the fuck am I thinking of? Oh, he pulled out to somebody recently. Who the fuck am I thinking of? Robert Valentin. That's who I was thinking of. Ryan Loder's the guy who beat Robert Valentin. Oops. Anyways, you can tell I just woke up. Ryan Loder coming off a loss to fucking Azamat Bekhoev. Not like a bad loss in hindsight. Azamat's not like a bad guy to lose to. Robert Valentin, great KO. I think a lot of people are going to glaze the fuck out of that because for some reason MMA YouTubers love Robert Valentin. Ryan Loder, though, he's kind of slow. And he's kind of like not really that imposing. Nardiev is a dirty rat cheat like he was in that Young Park. And he is weak to takedowns. I feel like Loder's probably going to get overzealous with the hands and probably just get KO'd again. You know? Ryan Loder's not like the youngest dude. He is kind of big, to be fair. But Nardiev's like got some legit skill on the feet. It's just when he cheats and everything, he sort of ruins his momentum. You know? He's really bad for eye pokes. Like, he eye poked Yun Park a bunch in that fight. I think one of the rounds was like a 10-8 or a 10-7 maybe even for Yun Park. Nardiev had like an illegal knee land as well. I think he lost a .4. It was Not a good performance from Nardiev, but Nardiev's got like legit talent. He's got some legit skill. He's good on the feet. His grappling is really weak. He can just get bitched around. Like, he can just get pushed against the fence. He can just get taken down. I don't think Loder's that guy to beat Nardiev. Um, and yeah, I'm just going to go with Nardiev here. I'm going to go with Nardiev KO. Probably round one. Nardiev's probably got a chip on his shoulder this fight, I have to imagine. And he's going to come in. And Morocco guys are pretty tough, to be fair. You know, I don't think he's been... Yeah, he's got subbed before. KO way back when. Or no, that's him getting a submission. Yeah. So I'm not gonna be too crazy surprised if Ryan Loder can just like tough out a decision, but Yun Park's tough. I feel like Ryan Loder's not taking the shots Yun Park was taking in that Nardiev fight. So I'm gonna go with Nardiev here. I'm gonna go by an early KO, probably like first 2-3 minutes. Fluky-ish KO. Like he kind of just like he's looking all right, not really much goes on, and then Nardiev just lands that one shot that puts down Ryan Loder. We move on. Beksat Almakhan taking on Tagir Ulanbekov. I read that wrong. I'm too tired. Beksat Almakhan taking on Alexander Topuria. Shit, man. Why is Beksat taking on Topuria? Fuck, man. God damn it. Our little Beksat, man. Beksat's a sick fighter. If you don't know who Beksat is, I don't blame you. He's like he's kind of stuck to the prelims. He was that guy who almost KO'd Umar Nurmagomedov. You know, he really did fuck up Umar Nurmagomedov. I think it was round 2. He flatlined him, and Umar only was still able to finish that fight because the moment he woke up, he dove for legs. I guess it's been paying off for him. You know, same thing happened with that Mario Bautista fight. Just saying, you know, he's been getting cracked a lot. But Beksat was the first one to figure out that plan. I think it was just an overhand right that put him down. He just couldn't figure out a way to get up from Umar. But I mean, we've seen the control of fucking Islam Makhachev. So you know, Umar's control is like just under that pretty much. They'll hug on to dear life, and not finish a fight. But he's smart on the ground. It looks like he definitely knows what's going on the ground. Just sometimes, you know, you just can't do anything when someone's just laying on you, putting their full body weight on you, not doing anything to advance position. And then Brad Katana, that's a legit good KO. Mainly because Brad Katana is typically considered to be pretty tough. He's very hittable. Beksat does kind of have crazy power. Alexander Topuria is really good. A lot of people are shitting on him in his, I guess, debut against Colby Thickness. A lot of people are saying, like, yeah, this guy's not as good as Ilya Topuria. And to his credit, like, he did do really, really well against Colby Thickness. Now, we've seen Colby Thickness kind of struggle with guys who can grapple in his last fight as well, and Colby can kind of just be taken down and held down, but Topuria did really well. Like, he did look like younger Topuria in there. Like, he really did look like a Jai Herbert Topuria, but only at bantamweight, you know? He's definitely of the bloodline. He's definitely pretty good. This is going to be interesting because, you know, Topuria's been going through his stuff, so we don't know if that's really affecting the training of his, I think, older brother and Alexandre Topuria. I might be wrong there. Am I wrong in that? I think he's the older brother. Ilya's what, like 27? Ilya's pretty fucking young, isn't he? But, yeah, Alexander Topuria is good. His technique is there. I'm going to go with... Oof, this is tough, man. Kazakhstan. This is tough. I really, really like Beksat Almakhan. Like, he's really, really fucking good ever since he made that debut on Umar. You know? It's a tough one. But Topuria has been improving a lot. It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one, lads. I'm going to go with Beksat Almakhan. And I just feel like this is where, like, Topuria sort of shouldn't be taking a jump up so soon. He looked really good in his last fight, and hey, to Toporia's credit, I could see him winning this. I could see him getting a finish. I could see him doing well on the feet, winning a close decision. If he's not finishing thickness, I kind of find it hard to believe he'd be able to finish Bekzat Almakhan. Crazier things have happened, though. But I just don't see it. I feel like Bekzat's going to be able to sort of edge by at 29-28. Bekzat's fast on the feet, too. Hits hard. Might crack Topuria in moments. Topuria was getting hit by Thickness, and Thickness got good technique, but he doesn't have the pop. I feel like Bekzat's got the technique and pop to really like do something to Topuria here. I'm going to go with Bekzat Almakhan. I'm going to go decision. I respect the toughness of Topuria. We'll see what happens. This is an interesting one. Another one where I'm not betting, and I'm just kind of trying to... I'm going to try to gauge to see what happens. Yeah, I think this is a good fight. I'm going to go with Bekzat. I get the Topuria side. This is going to kind of be a test to see how fast Topuria is sort of improving. His last fight, he couldn't find the finish. His grappling was good, but he couldn't find really anything on the ground. If Topuria comes in and thinks he's just going to be able to wrestle Bekzat Almakhan, I feel like Bekzat's the type of dude to have some tricky tools in the bag. You know? Like a reverse position off Kimura type of, you know, scramble ability from like Brandon Royval type of get to his feet, and we'll see what happens, you know? So this is a very interesting fight. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this one. I'm going to be pretty excited. We move on. Kyoji Horiguchi taking on Tagir Ulanbekov. I'm just going to take Tagir, and we're not going to really think about it too much. I mean, Tagir gets whatever the fuck he wants when it comes to decisions. Azat Maxim, I thought, beat him. Clayton Carpenter had a close fight, and I don't know how they scored that a clear Clayton Carpenter as well, but alright. You know... Yeah. Only the great Tim Elliott can really beat him. But, thing with Kyoji Horiguchi, don't know who the fuck this guy is. I've heard his name before. Ryzen. Is this the guy that fought, what's his name? Kaya Sakura, is that this guy? Kyoji Horiguchi. I don't know, I feel like I've heard his name before. I don't know much about him. We're just gonna go with the guy who's gonna nut hug for 3 rounds. Yeah, he's younger. He's gonna be bigger, which is, I feel like, really rare for Tagir. Yeah, we're gonna go with Tagir here, not really think about it too much. We move on. Abdul Rahim Yakimov taking off Rafael Kikera. It's another fucking debut, man. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Yeah, we're not going to go with the guy on a 3-loss streak who's been broke in every fight and is kind of dog shit. I think his last fight was a decision, right? Julius Walker. He got finished by Modestus Bukaki and fucking Ibo Aslan. Both of those are NPCs. I guess Bukaki's not, but... Julius Walker... shouldn't have... man. Kakid is a weird guy. He's got the physicality. He looks like he's a real MMA fighter, and then he gets in there, and he's just terrified. He really is just fucking terrified when he's in there. I don't know who this guy is. Why the fuck is he a minus 1,000? What? Yeah. And because I see those odds, Kakid is the guy who will crumble when he sees a big favorite in front of him. You know, there's guys... like, Huatepa Guitar fights, and, like, you know, Bo Nickel on the come-up. When they're such a heavy favorite, it's not like, how do I describe it? It's like their opponents, I feel like, are also seeing that line and being like, yeah, I've got no fucking chance here. You know, I got a chip on my shoulder, I'm gonna come in here and do something. And then they get in there, and they're like, oh shit, the pressure's really getting to me. So I'm going to go with this Abdul Rahimov guy beating Rafael Kikera, who I genuinely think is an NPC, and I'm confused on why he's still in the sport. Cut him from the UFC once he loses this one. We move on. We're going to go decision. Move on. We have Luke Riley taking on Bogdan Grad. We're going with debut. Debut. We love to see it. Why is Luke Riley such a high favorite here? We're going to go with Luke Riley. Bogdangrad's good, you know. His takedowns are pretty good. Had a really close fight with Naimov. The thing, though, really was Bogdangrad, he didn't really find anything on the feet. Like, he was landing some good shots, but he couldn't find anything. He was getting cracked a lot, too, to be fair. He's kind of like Gregory Rodriguez, in a way, but with a little bit more of a grappling plan. But Bogdangrad's got, like, some really low IQ in the grappling. I think he got himself on bottom, and he was able to, like, get taken down a couple times by Naimov, like a reverse takedown. It was a weird situation. I'm just gonna go with the guy who's got hype behind him. England, 26 years old, untested. I'll take a shot in the dark. You know, Bogdangrad looked good in his Alexander performance. But, you know, that Naimov, I get Naimov's a tough test, but I don't know. There's just moments in that fight where I'm just like, yeah, you don't have that killer in you, you know? And that's a big red flag for me. I'm going to go with the mewing Chad himself, Luke Riley. We move on. Alex Perez takes on Asu Almabayev. I'm taking Asu Almabayev. This is good for Asu Almabayev. I'm kind of a fan of Almabayev. I did pick Manel Cap to beat him, but I did pick him to beat Jose Ochoa. Asu's pretty good. His grappling's pretty good. He's relentless. He's good because he's okay with being uncomfortable. His striking is a little ugly. It's a lot like Umar Nurmagomedov's, where he just ducks his head and throws. Alex Perez is just not that guy. He lost to Tasso Taira. Oh yeah, his knee blew out when he like slammed or something like that, right? That was a weird situation. Yeah, knee injury against a relentless grappler like also Almabayev. Yeah, I'm not picking Perez. I'm gonna go with Almabayev. I think he'll probably get a sub, to be honest. He got pretty close in that Jose Ochoa fight. Yeah, we're gonna go with sub. We're gonna say round 2, late round 2, early round 3 sub. Asu Almabayev. He's really good at getting to the back, Almabayev. He's really, really good at that. And Perez kind of has a problem with grapplers getting to his back. You know, Figueiredo, Pantoja, Makayev. Like, these guys are, if I remember correctly, that Perez Makayev fight was pretty close, though. But the thing is that I do think Perez is just not good. And Almabayev's good. I mean, it's as simple as that, you know? Perez is a victim of, like, the old flyweights that are shit. And despite his, like, age being pretty young, he can't mix things well, you know? Like, he might be able to stuff a takedown, but he's not stuffing, like, 10 or 20. And I feel like Almabayev's going to just be relentless with the grappling. So, we're going to move on. Also, Almabayev, late round 2, early round 3 sub. Sergey Spivak taking on Shamil Gaziev. This is interesting. Shamil's kind of on a win streak, right? Yeah, 2-fight win streak. Thomas Peterson, Dontel Mays, right? Yeah. Spivak pissed me off with his last performance against Waldo. But Waldo's been doing really well and showcased how tough he was. Spivak is just a fighter who's like, he either goes or he's playing defense, you know? Like, he's like, what's that? King Shield, or like fucking, what's that Pokemon's name? Not Aegislash. Is it Aegislash? The Sword and Shield Pokemon who, like, when he attacks, he whips out the shield, and he's got, like, the sheath, and then when he's, like, doing a buff move, he puts the shield on and his guard. I can't remember the Pokemon's name. It's been a minute since I played X and Y, but yeah, he reminds me a lot of that, where it's like he's either attacking and he's like dangerous while attacking. Like, he looks pretty dangerous when he attacks with his trips, with his, you know, high, not intensity, what am I looking for? Effort? Like, I don't, like, he looks dangerous when he throws for heavyweight. Shamil Gaziev, He's been looking good, I guess, you know? Not against the greatest level of comp, to be fair. Thomas Peterson also recently got flatlined, so it's not aging the best for good old Shamil. Spivak also states he doesn't do research on his fighters. I don't like that. But Shamil doesn't really do anything that good. Like, he put Peterson down with a jab, you know? Congrats. I don't think Spivak's gonna go down to a jab. Like, it took, what's his name? Cyril Gahn to break Spivak's ribs in order for him to lose by KO, you know? Jolton Almeida ended up sneaking through a tricky situation. I'm not going to say Shamil's got a fucking tricky situation like that. I feel like Spivak's going to win this based off control time. You know, I feel like Spivak's probably going to come in here and try to wrestle with Gaziv. I think he'll get it, to be honest. I think he will wrestle with Gaziv, and I think he will get trips. You know, Spivak's got some tricky trips, and if you're not Waldo with great takedown defense, one of the best in heavyweight, it's hard for me to really think of, like, who Spivak doesn't take down, you know, other than the great Tom Aspinall or something like that. But I'm going to go with Spivak here. I'm going to say 29-28 split decision. Based off of Spivak not throwing a lot, but when he does land, it probably cuts up Shamil's face a little bit. Shamil probably bleeds a little bit. And then Shamil probably gets tripped out a few times. But Shamil's probably going to have the higher numbers. People might scream robbery or something like that. But yeah, I'm going to go with Spivak 29-28. We move on. Jack Hermanson taking on Mai Tai Beck. What? What the fuck are we doing in the sport, man? Mai Tai Beck Orabai, former lightweight, moving up to welterweight. Why? Who knows? Taking on Jack Hermanson, a middleweight, moving down to welterweight. Why? Who fucking knows? Jack Hermanson's good. I know he fraud checked Joe Pyfer. This is my big worry here. Orabai moving up, I feel like is not good. But he might be able to fill in a little bit better at 170. Is that why? Because he missed weight? Is that what it was? Fuck, man. Jack Hermanson, I feel like his chin is fully faded, you know? And I know a lot of people are going to look at that Joe Pyfer fight and say, like, oh, but he fraud checked Joe. Joe Pyfer quit in that fight. After round one, he just basically was like, fuck this shit, I want out. And he literally just didn't throw back, couldn't find the mark. But when Joe did land, I swear to God, Jack Hermanson was out on his feet. You can go back and we'll rewatch it. Every time Jack Hermanson got hit with that right hand or that left hook, he literally looked like he was out on his feet. But I don't think anyone was really focused on that because Joe Pyfer was looking like dog shit. Be like Joe Pyfer, as Dana White says. But Gregory Rodriguez KO, that was a comeback KO, to be fair. And that's kind of just like not a bad loss. It's Gregory fucking Rodriguez. Orabai, I don't think, has anywhere near the level of power of Pyfer. Like, that's the thing, man. I'm going to go with Jack Hermanson, you know. I like Orabai, and I've picked his fights perfectly so far. Because I did pick Rebecca to beat Orabai. I'm going to go with Hermanson, man. I feel like when you don't have a fucking killer in front of him, he does well. You know? Like, even Sean Strickland was piecing him up for so long. Man, his wins, like, Chris Curtis, he's at welterweight now. He looks pretty good at welterweight. Joe Pyfe, like, if the weight cut's good and Jack isn't losing a lot of his chin HP, I think he just wins this one. Like, he's able to stuff the takedowns. He's really good at anti-grappling, to be fair. But middleweights are dog shit, so this is going to be interesting. This is a very interesting fight. I'm going to pick Hermanson, but we'll see what happens. We move on. Yeah, I just think Hermanson's going to stuff the takedowns. And if Orabai doesn't get the takedowns, he's kind of tricky, to be fair, but he's not going to be a big dude at welterweight. This is like, oh, who was that guy who fought that Russian dude? Um, Francisco Prado. This is like Prado going up to welterweight. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You're not a welterweight. Like, you're just not, you know? And I just feel like this is where Hermansson's physicality takes over at 37, despite the age gap. I think Unk still got one more in him, you know? Because it's not like Hermansson's actually bad. Like with older guys like GM3 and a few others, they're slow, they're chinny. Hermansson's been getting finished, but he's getting finished by dangerous dudes. His technique is still there. Like he's still winning and then gets finished, you know? So this is an interesting one. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm picking Hermansson. Pretty confident, I'd say. Yeah. Orlby I don't think belongs at welterweight. We move on. Volkan Ozdemir takes on Alonzo Metafield. I'm taking Volkan Ozdemir. I think Metafield sucks. I get it. He's on a 2-fight win streak against Umar Sai. Great win in hindsight. Julius Walker, also a great win in hindsight because Julius... Oh, he's that tall dude. Now I remember exactly who he is. He's that, like, genetic freak. Maybe not genetic freak, but he's a tall, rangy dude who doesn't have a lot of muscle definition. Yeah, I'm going with Ozdemir. You know, I get it. Ozdemir lost to Olberg. Not a bad not a bad loss in hindsight. Krylov, kind of a bad loss in hindsight, but he's got some good wins. Walker KO, aged like a fine wine. Walker just beat another light heavyweight prospect. Bogdan Guskov, also aging like a fine wine. Guskov's pretty fucking good. Oh, wait. Yeah, Guskov is really fucking good. Holy shit. I forgot about that. I didn't even remember that he beat Bogdan Guskov. And then the great light heavyweight goat, Paul Craig. We all know John Jones was ducking Paul Craig. But Ozdemir's just good. He's one of those guys where, like, when you look at a skill set overall, he's just good. You have to finish him. Menifield's not finishing him. He's just not. Was the Krylov? No, the Krylov was a decision. You have to... Yeah, you have to finish him. That was 3 years ago. I'll stand by that. You have to finish Ozdemir. Menafield can get outmuscled. Menafield can get dropped. Menafield can get outstruck. Menafield's a little bit low volume. I'm going with Ozdemir. Pretty confident. Yeah, I just think Menafield sucks. We move on. Bilal Muhammad. Oh, shit. Bilal Muhammad takes on Ian Machado Gary. I'm picking Bilal. I hate Ian Gary. And I did pick him to beat Carlos Prates. When you bring something to Ian Gary, he loses. And I don't mean he breaks. I don't mean he is finishable. I don't mean he's weak and not physically imposing in there, because he's a big fucking dude. But he is, like, how do I describe it? He will just lose rounds. Like, genuinely, he will just lose rounds. You know? That MVP fight was really, really fucking close. And it came down to Ian Gary having control time in round 3. MVP I know it's MVP. MVP was outlanding the shit out of him on the feet. And then when you look at, like, the Prates fight, like, Ian Gary looked like he was ready to break in round 5. But he looked like it. I don't think he was actually ready to break. It was just one of those, like, Ian Gary doesn't know how to look good for the judges, in my opinion. And that's another thing with the Shavkat fight. He could have won that Shavkat fight, but he just couldn't deal with Shavkat pushing forward. And do I think Bilal pushes forward like Shavkat? I think he's better at it. You know? And, well, upon first reaction, I did think that JDM Bilal fight was pretty close. Upon rewatching, I actually do think JDM was closer to winning 4 rounds than Bilal winning 3. But it was a close fight at the end of the day. And I've always said that, so it's not like I'm turning heel on JDM just because he lost. Bilal's good, man. If he shows up with the chin he had in that JDM fight, Ian Gary's fucked. He just is. You know, Bilal's takedowns are pretty good. His control's pretty good. He's kind of like a muscle density maxer. Ian Gary's vegan at the end of the day, and you can just outmuscle him. You know, a lot like other vegans in the sport, like the Diaz brothers. Like, you can just outmuscle them and you'll win. I really don't see Ian Gary beating Bilal Muhammad anywhere. Bilal's got good hands, funnily enough. And now his teammate just won the belt. Now he's going to be going into this fight with all the confidence in the world now that the teammates are training. Yeah, you know, what the fuck is Ian going to do? Like, Ian, outside of like a fluke head kick or something, I really don't see how he beats Bilal here. You know, I just think Bilal is what like Brady kind of wants to be on the feet, where Bilal will pressure you and then shoot a takedown. Now, if Bilal doesn't shoot a fucking takedown, I think he can still win. I'd be a lot scareder, you know, in a 3-round fight. I'd be biting my nails a little bit, but I do think Bilal, if he just does Bilal things, strike, 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 takedown, he gets it. Ian Gary's comfortable on the bottom. We saw it in the MVP fight. We saw it with Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal was just holding him against the cage, and Ian Gary was fine with it. I'm gonna pick Bilal. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Bilal. I can't believe I'm fucking saying that. We move on. Yeah, I think he's gonna win like a 30-27, 29-28. And then Ian's gonna fucking cope and be like, yeah, I was in there with one of the best, yeah. And you know, I just couldn't get it done yet, but I really feel like I didn't lose that fight, you know? Come back later, you know? Yeah, I'm gonna showcase to all the Irish out there. You can conceive, achieve, believe, whatever you want, yeah. Be a cook if you want. Yeah, I'm Ian Gary. I'm Ian Machado Gary. Yeah, Ian Gary. I just don't see him winning. And if he wins, listen, I'll give him credit. I'll be like, that's a good, legit win. You know, kind of earned a title shot if they give it to him. Don't think they will because the line's getting pretty big. You know, there's Morales, there's Protest, there's a few others. But, you know, he did beat Carlos Protest actually recently. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Bilal. We move on to the main event. Armen Tsarukyan taking on Dan Hooker. You have no idea how bad I want to pick Dan Hooker. I love Dan Hooker. I picked him to beat Gamrot. I picked him to beat Jalen Turner. And I love Dan Hooker fights. I love all of them. They're sick fights. Even the split decisions. They're sick fights. Do I think he won those split decisions? Yes. Do I think he's going to get a third split decision in a row against a guy who doesn't fight, but did give Islam Makhachev probably his toughest test and had Islam cheating in that fight to even get takedowns? Yes, I do. I do. I do. I don't think Armen, or I don't think Dan Hooker's going to be able to pull off a split decision against Armen Tsarukyan. I will be rooting for him. I will be nothing but the praise. And like he said, he's going into this fight, and everyone's like, he's not going to be able to do anything. So anything he does do is going to be like, oh, that's big for Dan Hooker. You know? Oh, he reversed position. Oh, he landed a big shot. But Armen Tsarukyan, outside of getting cracked by Joaquim Silva, showcased a pretty good chin. Armen Tsarukyan in every fight has showcased really good elite grappling where he will just hold. And you kind of have to... You have to have a submission threat in order to beat Armen, in my opinion. Dan Hooker doesn't have that. And Armen's got a better chin than Mateus Gamrot, so Armen's not going to get dropped like Gamrot. Jalen Turner's got one of the lowest fight IQs of all time, just like, or not like Armen Tsarukyan. So, unfortunately, I think fat fuck Posh boy pulled out due to a back injury 24 hours before the fight. Yeah, I think he's gonna win. I think he's gonna win, unfortunately. And I think it's gonna be boring. I think Armen's gonna fake a few shots. Dan Hooker's gonna get ready to guard, get ready for a stand-up fight after Armen stands on the feet for about 2 minutes. And then Armen's gonna nut hug for like 12 minutes. You know, he's been competing in the BJJ tournaments and shit. This guy's just preparing himself to be a nut hugger, so gonna be probably a boring main event, but at least it'll probably be a boring co-main event as well. But yeah, that's been my picks and predictions for Armen Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker. I'll be rooting for Dan Hooker. You have no idea. Dan Hooker is probably top 5 favorite fighters right now. Yeah, I'll be rooting for him, but I just don't think he pulls it off. It's a 5-round fight. Fuck, it's a 5-round fight. Yeah, we're going with Armen Tsarukyan. We move on. That's the last fight. Yeah, that's been my picks and predictions for UFC. Armen Tsarukyan taking on Dan Hooker. If you made it to the end of the video, I want to thank you for watching, and as always, hope you have a good day.